Today we have with us an economist who's a scholar. His topic is planned and organized deficit spending. Hello, everyone. We have with us Dr. Vidur Sahgal. He's a macroeconomist who's looking at spending. Let's listen to him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. As I've been introduced by Dr. Subodh, I want to just say that I wish I could have done this earlier, in the sense my thesis, because we would have saved so much tension and economic hardship for people all across the world. Anyway, I'm on my way, and I'm focusing on just adding the two words planned and organized to deficit spending. Now, deficit spending is a Keynesian origin. However, there is talk in certain fields that Keynes interfaced with India or some Indian economists, and maybe he got the idea from there. And those days, we were ruled by the British, so there's no way of checking it out. However, it's an interesting area of research. Nevertheless, I want to start on defining planned and organized deficit spending. In planned and organized deficit spending, or PODs as I call it, there is no need for taxes. There is no shortage of money. There is no unemployment. And there is no inflation or deflation. So the way it works is, it's fitting in very nicely. The timing is perfect with digital currency, CBDCs, doing the rounds of almost 140 countries. So how it works is that if you issue 1 INR in the consumption channel and 1 INR in the production channel, which evolves into a good, service, or agro. As long as these matches of production and consumption carry on happening without inflation or deflation, you assume the production lag away, you can continuously issue digital currency. So this is the basic fundamental issue of planned and organized deficit spending in this digital currency era. Now, the benefits of this is, of POD CBDC is, that if you can type in the figure you want to consume and to produce, just by typing it onto the electronic platform, which connects all the banks in your economy, then you don't need to tax. Because all the digital money will arrive whenever it's required. You don't need velocity, you don't need multiplier, you don't need CRR, because cash is instantly generated through the electronic system. Of course, there will be regulations and rules about this. Maybe it's happening also in some countries, for all you know. But, so if there is no need to tax, then the government, which includes the politicians, the bureaucracy, the government companies, public sector companies, and in India, public sector banks, no one can question how they spend. And they can spend as much as they want, either on themselves or on the public. No questions asked. However, every 4 or 5 years, whenever the political tenure is over, people will vote depending on how a particular government spent. So this frees all politicians, all bureaucrats from big business and lets them make independent decisions which are unbiased and not collared around by vested interests. So this is the second most important thing about this. The third is the banks are in the public sector. You don't have to bail out a bank every now and then in the private sector. They are all in the public sector, controlled by the central bank of that economy. That's the bank which issues. That's the bank that issues the currency, a digital currency, and the banks have to lend money at 0% for any economic activity and pay an arbitrary figure of 11% per annum to bona fide cash deposits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these cash deposits, I'll explain what they are.
Yeah, please.
For example, in India, between the actual producer and actual consumer, there are 5 to 7 brokers. Okay?
Yes.
Who hoard or just take advantage of the bull inflation bull, whereby they earn sufficient amount of money for their yearly expenses by not divulging or diverting their main capital amount. And these interest rates and their earning of interest rates is sufficient to cover all the expenses. So we do not ask questions where your cash comes from and is deposited.
Mm-hmm.
Once deposited, you get a digital account balance and the cash is burnt so that it cannot be deposited again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there are 3 conditions for this money, which is digital now. It's either a digital account or it's a digital interest payment. Okay.
Yeah.
Now comes the rules of this. Every balance, whatever the amount, is guaranteed. The interest is guaranteed and the account balance, it could be $1 billion, it'll still be guaranteed. But there are 3 rules. You cannot encash this money. You can only transact digitally. And you cannot speculate with this money. You are receiving 11% per annum, and that should be enough to cover your expenses, given that these sums which will be deposited in cash would be large. Of course, those who have paid taxes, their tax payments all through the tenure of that lifetime will be added up, and on that amount, the taxpayer, once upon a taxpayer, will get his 11% per annum, and his entire deposit will be also 100% guaranteed.
Okay.
So that is the banking part over. Loans will be issued at 0%. You don't need to save money for anything. Medical expenses, marriages, family occasions, purchase of houses, etc. Anytime you need to, you'll get a loan at 0%. It'll be a supervised loan, or it'll be a supervised allowance.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it is a supervised job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And these loans, you will be given targets of quality, quantity, and personnel. And if you meet those targets, these loans will be credited to your account. If you meet the targets, the main targets will be supply side targets. What has to be enforced is supply, because the amount that is issued digitally is backed by whatever is made by that money, not digitally, but in reality. It evolves from a digital supply, rupee or dollar, to a good, service, or agro. Now, I want to talk about profit.
Yeah.
Now, I claim that profit and inflation are linked. For example, if a unit of consumption costs 100 rupees and is sold for 100 rupees profit, which means it's sold for 200 rupees, then for that one unit of production, there is an extra 100 rupee chasing it, which is a direct inflation impact on that economy, on that market. Okay?
Okay.
So you might be better off by if there's inflation, then you would subsidize again digitally the consumer for the difference between the price at inflation and what the price should be, which will be calculated. I'll show you how we calculate that. Similarly, in deflation, the producer will be given the money, digital money, to cover his expenses. Companies are expected to run at no profit, no loss, with adequate non-inflationary or non-deflationary expenditure to be allowed into the profit and loss account. Equity will be calculated by manner of par value plus all dividends plus all bonus shares during the entire tenure of the company, and this amount will be converted into a debt, and again 11% per annum will be payable on this debt. So the company is free of the shackles of stock equity market regulations and rules. However, there's another option, just in case Wall Street doesn't like this, and that is that there will be bull checks and bear checks on every share based on physical earnings. For example, if I open a company today, my par value is 10 rupees, and after 1 year of performance, physical performance, I issue a 20% dividend. So I issue 2 rupees as a dividend. So the value of the share now becomes 12 rupees. And for the next year, you have a history of a 20% dividend. So you can speculate up to that 20%. Now, suppose in the second year, there's a bonus issue. So a 10 plus 2 plus 10 share becomes 22 rupees. Okay?
Yes.
Now, but perhaps everyone just decided to bet only 20% on the future of that share. However, it's a bonus share, so they'll get it. Okay? And the value of the share will become 22 rupees. Not some imaginary number using some pricing model or whatever. Okay? we are talking about actual physical performance of a company matched to its profit and loss account. Ideally, companies, like I've said, should work on no profit, no loss, because whatever you spend whatever you make should be spent.
Yeah.
So that there is a zero state existing. Just excuse me, sir.
Sure.
Now, we've discussed the inflation bit. We've discussed how to control inflation and deflation. Now comes from the point of view of India and from the point of view of America. From the point of view in India, we would like to do business in Indian rupees.
Yes.
Okay. From the point of America, they want to do business in dollars. But they have a slight upper hand because they have a monopoly of US dollars in this world. And if they're talking of requirements of $20 trillion, all they have to do is type it into the system. Pay off all their T-bills, their bonds, their pension schemes, their social security schemes can be all put into this pipe of money flowing from the Fed. That's why I'd asked you to, if you could make me meet Jerome Powell or Janet Yellen. I could explain it to them.
Okay.
That is still a request from my side.
All right. We'll see. Let's
Yeah.
continue with your scheme, please.
Yeah. So now we've told you how black money will be removed. We've told you about profit and how CBDC, not cryptocurrency, CBDC. How CBDC? Because it's guaranteed by the central bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's guaranteed by that, what that currency produces.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with AI and ChatGPT and all these software becoming available, I think it's a bit unfair because I'm talking to you from my desktop. We are conversing, we are okay, but we do not know how many computers are listening.
Yeah. That we certainly don't know, right?
So it's one man with against so many machines.
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion, a dangerous level of control. What happens in this, is it called cyberspace?
Yes.
No.
Cyberspace. Cyberspace.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens in the cyberspace has to be monitored. Because if you don't, there's a possibility that we will lose the theory of evolution as per Darwin, but we would have to face the fact that maybe we evolved from robots who were allowed AI.
All right.
Okay.
Please continue. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So now I have suggested that I've written a paper about it. I'm going to hopefully present it in November. It's the IBIS Swiss School of Business Management Conference, and they have asked us to write about the effects of AI and machine learning. So there will definitely be a reduction of working hours. There could be unemployment. There could be re-employment. But at the end of the day, if you have spare hours at home, then spend it with the family. Rebuild the family institution. which the USA and the developed countries must. Because if you notice, all these huge behemoths companies came via family businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And today, the institution of family is rather weak, and it's getting weaker in India also. And I think a minimum income guarantee is a very good idea.
Okay.
Loss of income in a family always spoils the cordiality and the pleasant atmosphere at home. So these things have to be factored into the revenue also by having a happy citizen, happy family life, children growing up rightly, without drugs or alcohol because parents have divorced, and everything. The judiciary, the health sector, and the education sector. These three sectors have to be funded by the government, and,
Mhm.
and that too with the best quality. Because money is not in short supply. Money is not in short supply. What is in short supply is resources or factors of production.
Okay. Makes sense.
So the only constraint to pods is resources or factors of production. And if you're like, say, America, even if there are resource shortages or factors of production not being there, you can import them. You can import ready-made goods. You can import everything. And because your country has, you can say, discovered AI, discovered the internet, wired up the full world, that's a lot of work being done, globally. And I think the US should be more generous with its dollars, and they should not weaponize dollars, but they should diplomize dollars. And for example, if they want to, they can offer China, okay, we'll forgive all your dollar debt. You don't invade Taiwan. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that example,
Yeah.
they can go to Pakistan and
Yeah.
say, here is a credit entry in your ledger account balance at the Fed of $40 billion. Now don't listen to China. Similarly, they can do it with Iran.
Yeah.
Similarly, they can do it with so many countries because for the Fed, it's just a ledger entry.
Yeah.
He's not losing any cash.
No.
You see? And
Yeah.
cash is history now.
Yeah.
Cash is history. I mean, the networks, you don't issue a checkbook and a passbook. You issue a smart banking electronic device, which is wired up to your bank branch.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, anything else? I think in a nutshell, that covers it, except for the last bit, which is where India and USA are concerned. Now, we have signed agreements about double taxation.
Yes.
In case we require hard currencies, we have a huge NRI and OCI diaspora of Indians living all across the world. Now, if they were individually requested a tax of $4,000 in hard currency with a deposit of 3,20,000 rupees in a bank in India, which would be guaranteed, and 11% per annum would be guaranteed too.
Okay.
And we'll repay the $4,000 whenever it becomes available. So we have a check there. We have a check there. And if, FDI is not required. You want to do business in India, the public sector banks can issue 0% loans. Because in India, you spend rupees.
Yeah.
You spend dollars. So that again is inflationary. First, $20 billion gets issued. Then that $20 billion is converted to about ideally 1,600 billion rupees. But a little bit is not. It goes haywire because of some dollar machinery imports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is an inflationary impact on the growth when 1,600 on top of 20 billion. We are saying take 1,600 billion rupees. Now, can you make Intel make a chip for us? And that too, state of the art. We are not going to settle for anything less than state of the art, because if the countries, Western countries, abandon us from the point of view of our investment destination, then we have sufficient engineering and management and economic understanding to Atmanirbhar, as they say. So it's not in a egotistical or threatening manner. It is just that let's do business. Technically, if the US were to decide that it wants to do dollar business all over the world by issuing dollar to everybody, then that's a different ballgame altogether. It was tried in Bretton Woods, okay? But for some reason, the agreement didn't take place. However, today, every currency should be utilized. For example, between India and US, they will hold rupees, we will hold dollars.
Yeah.
We will pay our tourists dollars to visit America, and they can pay their tourists rupees to visit India.
Okay.
This is one sector. People, elderly people, senior citizens, they haven't seen the world. So why not? Let them go and enjoy their their old age while they can. Instead of putting them in an old age home,
Yeah.
They can organize tours for that. And senior citizens and children from divorced households will not be tolerated, because God does not produce children. Men and women, they decide when to produce children.
Yeah.
But not children of lust, or when one was drunk and couldn't control oneself. These children should be either allowed to be aborted safely, or if they are given birth, then the parents have to stay together in a family.
Yeah.
The children are at least 25 years old.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then the husband doesn't pay alimony to his wife, and the wife doesn't pay alimony to her husband. They pay damages to the children, and maybe a happy family can take care of them, or the grandparents can take care of them.
Okay.
grandparents, senior citizens must be taken care of at home, and they would be supervised. The people taking care of the elderly people will be supervised so that nobody is mistreated.
Okay.
So that in a short 20 to 25 minute presentation is what PODS is all about.
Okay.
It only strives to add planned and organizing to deficit spending. It doesn't do anything more.
Yeah.
But it opens a whole new era of macroeconomic policy and theory.
All right.
And it will work. This will work because one more thing, the US doesn't have to buy foreign bonds or treasury bills or sell them or borrow from outside. It can just issue the money directly within its banking system.
Okay.
That too digitally.
All right. So, do you have any more elaboration, or is it time to wrap it up and have some discussion?
Yeah, go ahead. Ask me questions. I could come up. There's a lot. I mean, I've written a lot about agriculture.
No,
One
see,
village, one.
okay, my approach in these interviews is simply to ask follow-up questions, not to ask a direct and leading questions. I leave it to the speaker to convey the points that the speaker wants to convey. And I don't agree or disagree. That's not the approach I have. So I just want to ask, what's the follow-up to this? I mean, whom are you talking to, and how do you want to publicize it?
Well, so far I have got no support from anyone in the world.
Okay.
You're the first interview that has taken place with me.
Okay. I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to facilitate. I'm happy. I am not. I don't have a. I mean, I have a point of view, but in these interviews, I don't have a point of view, and I'm happy to hear all points of view. I'm glad that you have got the opportunity to discuss it, but I'm just asking, what's the next step for you? And
next step for me is to get my thesis cleared.
Yeah.
Defend my dissertation.
Yeah.
Get my DBA.
Yeah.
And then I would like to consult central banks all over the world.
All right.
And okay. I will take my payment in the domestic currency of the central bank, convert it to INR.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay, good. So I'm glad that I could at least facilitate a presentation for you. And I'm happy to accommodate all points of view and innovative ideas here without getting my own views in here, because that's really not the place for me. It's the place for you. And I just ask you, you have anything else to add? And then if you have, please add.
Let me just check my notes.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So you might say that this is socialistic or communistic. Okay. You might say that. But this is capitalism. One side of the coin, you're maximizing profit.
Yeah.
Other side of the coin, you're maximizing balanced deficits.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Well, then, thank you, Dr. Sahgal. This has been certainly very innovative, and certainly I'm glad that you have a chance and I to present, and I have a chance to listen, because everybody is interested in digital currencies, and everybody is interested now in what you call CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, rather than cryptocurrency from the private sector. And probably India is going to do something about a digital rupee. And so it's innovative and timely. And let's hope that through this channel, you are able to get some exposure. I don't know how many people actually follow each speaker, but I hope you get something. And maybe we'll catch up with you sometime in the future to see what progress you have made.
Okay, thank you
Fine.
very much. But I want to know something.
Yeah,
Will
please.
you put this video on YouTube?
Yes, like everybody else.
Okay.
All right.
And send me the link.
Of course.
In how long can I expect that?
In 24 hours.
In 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, in 24 hours, you will have the link. It takes a little bit of time to go from Zoom to video that I will edit it to put your name there, right? Then after I edit that, then I have to convert it to YouTube format and upload it. So it's still a little bit, not so smooth that you can just say, okay, it's recorded and it's on YouTube. No, it takes some time, and I have another person to do it. But yeah, 24 hours is the maximum. It's not minimum. It's for sure it won't take more than 24 hours. I will send you the link, and I will also put it on my LinkedIn account.
Okay.
Okay, I have a pretty large following on LinkedIn. I will put this on my LinkedIn account, the link to this with a little explanation of who you are and what you did. And I will send you the link, and everybody you can send it to anyone you want. There's no fee to see, there's no charge, there's no password. It's open, and anyone can see it with just the link. They don't need any other thing. And it's on my YouTube channel like every other interview.
But do send it to Jerome Powell's notice and Janet Yellen's notice,
Yeah.
and say I'm requesting to be commissioned as a consultant instead of Deloitte or Goldman Sachs or any of these companies.
Okay.
Because
all right, let's end it here, sir, today. And let me end the recording. Okay, bye, everybody. I'll be back with another young person or an expert. Till then, bye.